Put down your baby and pick up a beer. Dad Jokes is back with a brand new episode. I'm Jerry, joined here by Brandon, and you're listening to the podcast of two dads going through the journey of fatherhood while you all listen to us as we do it. And Brandon, like fatherhood and like life, things always seem to come up, and a lot of those have come up for us lately, and that's kind of why it's been a little bit since our last episode. I think we've had this scheduled 3 or 4 times, and we're finally on the microphones, and we're talking to each other, so I'm glad we're getting this done finally, Brandon.
Yeah, Jerry, there's been a lot of stuff that's happened, and we're going to get into the fact that the title of this episode right now, we might change it, is Everybody's Sick, or Surviving Sick Season. But on top of that, I think you told me before KJ was born, you can't wait until we get into like filling the 2 kids. And I'm telling you, man, the last 2 months have been a struggle. It's been a fun struggle at times, but we're feeling it right now. But we'll get into that in a little bit.
That's funny you said that, Brandon, because like it is like it's such a weird thing. Like you feel it at the beginning because you got a baby again, which is just its own culture shock, right? Because you got one kid oversleeping through the night or whatever. But so you feel it when they're really little, I feel like, but then you kind of get into a groove. But then when they start crawling and moving and getting into stuff, and you're really taking care of like 2 beings with personalities and just that need a ton of attention, it's different. And it's I wish I'd tell you there's light at the end of the tunnel, but I'm still dealing with it daily, and I'm probably no better off than you are right now, my friend.
I'm scared about what you just said because that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm literally talking about just 2 kids who are sick, needing attention, and then not sleeping through the night, which is affecting
tough.
us.
That is tough. But yeah, when they start crawling and moving, I pray for you there, Brandon. That's different. What happens is honestly you just get used to it, but it's a lot. Like really quick just to get into something, but like yesterday, Peyton was crying about something. I'm trying to help her. And I literally look over in 2 seconds, Avery went from being next to me, so she was climbed up, sitting in her art table, just sitting in it. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, what are you doing? And then she starts crying, I want down. I'm like, you climbed up there. And I'm trying to, like, it's just, stuff happens quick, and you can't turn around. Like, I think today I turned around and she was climbing up the stairs again. And now the good thing is Peyton tells on her, though. So she said, Daddy, Avery's climbing up the stairs. So that was good. But before we get into what's going on, Brandon, the show's called Dad Jokes for a reason. My dad joke is kind of a dirty dad joke. I'm not going to lie to you, Brandon. So we might save that for the end. We'll let you go first.
I had a dirty one in there, and then I had one that wasn't. I'm going to go. But if yours at the end is decent, I might throw another one at the audience.
Well, it's been a while since we've kind of done a little bit on the edge ones. So I was like, it's time. So I found one, and it's pretty funny. But go ahead, Brandon.
My dirty one involves ladies of the night.
Ladies of the night.
Does anything for you. But this, okay, let me get in joke mode. Jerry, did you know that you can tell the sex of an ant by putting it in the water?
No.
If it sinks, it's a girl ant. If it floats, it's buoyant.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Little play on words. That's good. Mine's better and more PG-13.
Well,
but I think you'll think it's better.
You might hear the lady of the night joke then later. We'll see.
So what else has been going on, Brandon? Like you said, it's been quite a bit since we've caught everyone up on stuff. So tell us what's been going on in the Banks household besides everyone feeling like they're dying.
Well, you kind of buried the lead in your semi intro and story, but you mentioned crawling, and as of yesterday, and confirmed again today, we officially have a crawling KJ in the household. He's been on the verge literally all month. Like it's been 3 or 4 weeks of him like just not. When they get to and for those listening who maybe don't have kids at this stage yet, they get to a point, it seems like, where they're just like one motion. Like for him, it was like his left leg. He couldn't figure out how to like whip it around. It was always at like a 90-degree angle, while every other part of his body was in the crawling motion, but his leg would just be sideways. And it's been like, I was trying everything. I'm getting down on the ground with him. I'm grabbing his leg and putting it the right way. And he would the kid is like he has a great temperament, doesn't really get upset by much. The minute I touch his leg and try to put him in a crawling position, he like starts whining. So had to be careful with that. We're putting stuff like things that he really likes, like our cell phones, like 5 feet in front of him, try to make him go get it. And he can find a way to get there, but it wasn't by crawling. It was like the little scoot thing that they do. But first, and this is one of those like happy sad moments. Kelsey and I got a text yesterday from my mom because they got him to crawl at their house. So super happy that he crawled. Low key salty because we both been working with him on it like all the time to get him to do it at our house. But it was bound to happen there. I can't remember if that's what happened with Bryce. I think we were the ones that got him to do it. But KJ started crawling at my parents' house. He was able to do it again today with us. He did it actually in front of Kelsey's parents.
You're in the
on FaceTime.
honeymoon phase then. That means like this is when it's cool. You're super excited.
Oh, yeah.
It's cute. And then like a week goes by.
It actually made me kind of sad. I've been waiting for this. Like I feel like he should have been doing it already. And then he's been doing it, and it's like like this dude. And then so with KJ in general, I feel like about a month ago something just clicked with him where he like his personality really started coming out. Like he started doing stuff on purpose more than like, and he's engaged with what you're saying. He like sees me when I come in the house and says Dada. Like he gets excited to see me all the time. It's just if something just clicked, and that's just like that's my guy. That's my little guy. I even get like the occasional he reaches for me over Kelsey. Bryson never did that at this age. That actually happened today, and Kelsey looked like she wanted to pop me upside the head when it happened.
There you
go. So KJ's doing well. He's my little guy right now. And I know the title of the episode is Everybody's Sick. I think we're knock on wood. I think we are finally past it. It's been a couple of days. We still got a little bit of runny nose from Bryce occasionally, but we're going to talk about what actually has been going on the last 2 months. But it seems like we're at the tail end of it. But just I'm gonna go through a couple quick hits of the last month. Bryce went to the dentist. If you guys remember, the first time he went to the dentist, he did absolutely amazing. He seemed to have forgotten everything that he did. That happened, and he did the first time because the second time.
There's no rhyme or reason to these kids, man. There's just no rhyme or reason.
It's so frustrating, man. Like, we did everything the same, prepped him again. Like, we treated it like this was like almost a first visit again, except he knew what the guy's name was. He knew we had a good experience with it. Still read him the book and watched the Daniel Tiger episode, or I forget which episode we watched beforehand. But did everything the same. We get there. He's smiling, talking to the guy. As soon as he sit in the seat, he's just like not listening. Doesn't want to open his mouth. Doesn't want to do anything. And so it was a battle. Something that should have taken 5 or 10 minutes took like 20 to 25, and it was all Bryce's fault. KJ went to the doctor. He's gained 3 pounds, and you can definitely know why, because every time that boy sees food, he's like his daddy. He ready to eat. So don't bring food around. Bryce was almost indifferent. That KJ can eat. KJ gonna be a little chubster, I think. We'll see. The boy like eating. And speaking of eating, we had Thanksgiving while we were off, and our family, we split it up. So the day before Thanksgiving, Kelsey does a big spread for my parents. They come over. That's KJ was at his best during that time. We found out he loves Thanksgiving food and every other food. So we did that. We went to her parents' house in Grand Rapids the next day, and they did really well at the house. But I will tell you, and we didn't really deal with this a ton with Bryce. I remember you always talking about it. But there is nothing worse, Jerry, than crying kids in the car. And like I can kind of ignore it. I can kind of ignore it and keep it pushing. It drives Kelsey insane. Like she does not. She wants it to stop like immediately. And so to the point where for KJ, we'll have like 6 passies up by us because he inevitably will drop it and you can't find it because he's fighting your hand when you try to reach back there. So That's all. That's always fun. You almost prefer to be the driver in that scenario because your arm gets tired, constantly reaching back and holding the passy in, stuff like that. So that was an experience. KJ has not been great in the car, and we'll get into like our overall lack of sleep and how it's affecting us when we start talking about our topic. Last couple things for me, Bryce's language is great. Like the things that he's saying, how he's saying it, how he's responding. Like there's real thought behind like his responses, and he's turned into like a real little kid, which is crazy to watch. But he is still a terrorist. Like he absolutely should be like on the FBI watch list because he is terrorizing us he's a little Sour Patch terrorist because he is amazing. Like I've said this before, the percentages are still the same. He's amazing 70% of the time. But the 30% that he is the terrorist, like, makes you want to,
because they know you now,
grab
Brandon,
him and just throw him across the street.
Because they know you now, so they know how to like get to you even worse. Because it's like at two, they just that's what I'm saying. They go from being like just terrorists just because they're just mad to like no, now they're intentionally doing things that they know annoy you. Or like against, and you know they understand, and it just drives you nuts. Exact opposite of what you're telling them to do, and it's just crazy.
Misery loves company, and I'm glad. Like a lot of times, these conversations, or even ones that we have when we're in person, it makes me feel a little bit better about my parenting skills. Either that, or we both suck, which could absolutely be the case.
You might want to turn this podcast off right now.
I just question like, am I doing anything wrong, like, or what I'm doing wrong, like what am I doing right with this kid? Like they'll have you thinking like what am I doing? Because you don't want to be the parent with that kid. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be the parent with that kid. And I feel like more often than not, and maybe it's just not only you're like my kid's being that kid. They're being the kid I was terrified of having. Okay, when we're out in public. But he is something else in the house. Actually, the percentages I gave is probably more out in public percentage. It might be inverse when he's at the crib. It might be 70%. I want to punch you, and punt, P-U-N-T, not punch, even though that's about the same thing. But I'm a kicker.
When's the last time, Brent? Let me ask you a question. Great. When's the last time, if you can remember, when is the last time that Bryce had a day where he had no issue?
That was it was a couple days ago. Because we looked at each other and were like, man, he's had a great day today.
I'll give you props. I can't remember.
Great.
I can't remember. Even when Peyton has like a 95% great day, she's got 5% in her. Is she gonna give you it? You gonna get it at some point.
It was actually this weekend. I forget which day, but it was fairly recent. Because we looked at each other and said that. It's like, man, he's been great all day.
Well, see, then you still got good days in you. Because I couldn't tell you the last. I mean, no, I say good days. I have good days, but that's funny. Anything else going on, Brandon?
Nah, man, that kid's taking everything out of me, man. I keep snapping my belt when I come in, and it's like I'm joking. I don't. But he make me think about what I'm going to tell you.
I hear you on that. Well, it's funny, Brandon, because we Avery just turned 18 months, which is crazy in itself. And
that is crazy.
She's always been the one who's kind of been, not that Peyton's been an angel by any means, but Avery's always been, we nicknamed her Angry Avery. And if you've been listening, you know, she's always had kind of a personality. She's kind of been a handful. And I kind of told Macy the other day, and not that she's still not a handful, because she absolutely is, but because Peyton's in her Terrorist 3 era, Avery seems like the good one most of the time. She's happy-go-lucky. She's smiley. Her personality's really coming in. She's goofy as all get out. And she's just darn cute. When they hit 18 months, they're so freaking cute, Brandon. It's terrible because it's just like you can't be mad at them. And she just got this dorky grin all the time. And she's cute. She's really cute. But the bad part about 18 months is this is like, and it's been probably last few weeks, last couple months, she's figured out tantrums. And this is the stage when their tantrums aren't like using words or really triggered by much of anything. They just come out of nowhere. Around. Yeah, and they're just like, and the thing is, and I'm most things have been this way with the second kid, but I feel like I almost have less patience for it. Because, like, I'll just be like, what are you mad about? Because she just starts freaking out off of nothing. And honestly, what it is most of the time is she's obsessed whenever me and Macy are trying to eat or do anything that doesn't involve her, she wants to be held or be involved in it. And that's a lot. And if you don't give it to her, she's in full-blown tantrum mode. But when she's not in tantrum mode, she's actually been a very, very happy kid lately. So not a ton of complaints. And her language for her age, and I know Peyton struggled a little bit, so I don't know if this is some of it, but it seems crazy. This kid's saying a ton of stuff. And some of it, I think, is being around Peyton. Like, she's counting. Like, I don't think she actually knows what she's doing, but she's mimicking what, like, Peyton's doing. Like, Peyton was counting today, and Avery Austin goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm like, cool. You know? But do I think she knows what it means? No. But she's saying, like, full sentences, and, like she's saying 3, 4, 5-word sentences, and new words I never hear her say every single day. And she'll repeat you really well, which Peyton always struggled with. But if you tell her to say something, she'll say it most of the time. So her language has been great. Peyton, also in the time that since we last recorded, had her 3rd birthday. So she's 3 now, officially in the Terrorist 3 era. Her birthday went really well. Yeah. Her birthday party went well too. You guys were there. It was a lot of fun. Macy did a good job of having like activities for the kids, like crafts and there was like a Trolls theme party. So there was, they could make like troll hair and color troll pictures and make all these different things. And Peyton had a great time. She got way too much stuff, which just stressed me out, including 3 different ball ball gowns, which, yeah, I mean, because that's what she needs. The kid still.
That girl loves dresses, man.
She loves dresses.
They'll get worn.
Yeah. Well, the problem is she will only wear dresses all day long, like outside, inside, bedtime. Like going to bed, she won't wear pajamas. She hasn't for probably close to a year now. She will only wear dresses. And when I say dresses, I mean like summer dresses. And then she'll say she's cold, which drives me insane. But she will only wear dresses. But we have really, really pushed to try to get her to wear pants when we go outside, which is always a fight. But we've had some success with that. And speaking of that, because it's the holiday season, Brandon, we've done some things, including going to chop down a tree, which is a tradition I want to do with the girls every year. And it was
lit tree.
Yeah, well, we have a fake tree. But we also are going to cut down. We went to cut one down, and the girls actually did pretty good getting dressed. We went there, and Brandon, it was the day of the Michigan-Ohio State game, which won. Go Blue. Any Michigan fans out there, great day. But I wanted to go early, so we went to the one that was open first, and it was super busy, and it was really cold out. And the girls were doing good. We ride in the wagon, we get off, and they start getting cold. And I could tell Avery probably has never been cold like this before, and she's starting to be like, this sucks. You could tell she's like, I don't like this. And then Peyton, who like doesn't want to really dress super warm, is all of a sudden being like, hey, I'm kind of cold, Dad. And so I'm trying to find this nice tree. But if you've ever been to a tree farm, usually all the really good trees are farther back because the ones up front have been cut down already, right? So we don't get too far, and the girls are starting to lose it. So basically, I had to find the first decently tall / weld tree I could find and cut it down quick. And I cut that boy down quick. I was actually proud of myself. But it isn't the best tree we've ever had. It's a little Charlie Brownish, but it's got some character. So the girls kind of did good at the beginning, but not so great at the end. But they had lots of fun decorating the tree. They're really loving Christmas. I don't know how Bryce is, Brandon, but Peyton is like full blown into Christmas mode this year.
He is too.
And yeah, she's loving the Advent calendar that we do. She's loving the Macy plays like a Santa video most of the days. She's talking about Santa. And the funny part is, so we've seen Santa a few times now. And Peyton actually done really good. I thought she'd be terrified of her just because of her personality. But she started out asking Santa for a baby doll. And I was like, okay. And then it turned into an Ariel doll. And I was like,
oh, okay.
Okay.
It's not worth it.
Then it turned into, I want the pink Ariel doll. I'm like, a pink Ariel doll? So, long story short, we had to help clue in Santa on what a pink Ariel doll was because we found one. Lo and behold, Grandma showed Peyton, said pink Ariel doll the other day, and that's not the pink Ariel doll she wants. She wants the pink Ariel doll with the pink hair. So, Santa's got his hands full.
Does this thing exist?
In her head, it does. In her head, it does. But we'll see. I got a feeling that Santa
I
might
bet you can make that happen.
not come through.
I'm sorry. I bet Santa can make that
Yeah,
happen.
Santa's going to have about seven things under the tree. I got a feeling to see if she can make, or if he can make Peyton happy. But it's been funny because this girl's so you know how Peyton is. And anyone's been listening, she's got a strong personality. She's very adamant on what she wants and what she doesn't want. So she will tell you what she likes and doesn't like.
Troll hair.
Pink Ariel doll with the pink hair. That's what she says every day. I want the pink Ariel doll with the pink hair. So that's what she wants. Other than that,
so you mentioned pink real quick. Bryce's favorite color is pink, and I've never really let him pick out something like shoes at a store or anything like that. So we're at Dick's Sporting Goods a couple of days ago. My brother works there. He gets a pretty major discount during the holidays. So we're walking through, and I tell Bryce, "Hey, you can pick out some tennis shoes." And they got all the kids' shoes lined up. And I kind of knew what was going to happen.
mm-hmm.
He picked out the ugliest pink and brown shoes, mainly pink and brown tennis shoes that I've ever seen in my life. But you know what? I don't care. Like the kid, I told the kid he can pick out his own shoes. He can pick out his own shoes. But lo and behold, they didn't have his size, and I love it. Never been happier in my entire life.
You were so happy.
Like, no, can't get those, dog.
Oh,
No
that's
shoes.
great. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well,
it's pink. It's favorite color.
It's funny you mentioned Bryce's speech has been kind of doing great lately. Peyton's has been too. She shocks me every day with what she knows. Like she says words, I'm like, I didn't know you knew that word. And she's becoming more independent too. Like she was fake phone calling, which she does all the time, but she was fake phone calling Santa today. And she was telling Santa, no, I can't right now. I need to go clean the floors. Like, what? Like, what a scenario in her head is she playing out? She's like, no, Santa, not right now. And then it's just
great.
like, but she like comes up with crazy like sayings and stuff like every day. And she's also the girl that will like, if you say something that she doesn't think is nice, she will call you out on it, and it's hilarious. She'll be like, no, Daddy, that's not nice. Or like sometimes I'll be like, Avery, stop crying. You're being annoying. And she's like, she's not annoying. She's a nice baby. She's a happy baby. I'm like, you're right. Good call, Peyton. And also, for the record, it's not my baby. It's Peyton's kid because Avery is her baby, and she will tell you that. So.
Good job, Peyton. I feel like we got the two extremes. Like Bryce is a boy's boy, and I feel like Peyton's a girl's girl.
Oh, she's a girl's
So
girl.
we'll see how the other two show up.
She also is obsessed with Mr. Grinch and wants to watch Mr. Grinch, not the Jim Carrey version, like the new cartoon version, every single day.
The Jim Carrey one's the best one.
I agree 100%, but literally will ask you to watch Mr. Grinch the first thing when she wakes up in the morning. And it's so bad that today she told Macy that she didn't like Raja. She liked Mr. Grinch's dog, Max, better. Unprompted. Thanks, Peyton. So yeah. And then other than Mr. Grinch, both my daughters absolutely love to dance and music, which is awesome, except for the fact that they're very adamant on what they want to listen to, which basically is either the Aurora song, which is not a good song for the record, the Spidey soundtrack, because Peyton decided she likes the new Little Kid Spidey show, or the Trolls song, Poppy song, as they call it. And that's on repeat 24/7. Or the wedding song. They do like me and Macy's wedding song, which they also ask for all the time, and which is cute, except for I'm pretty sure they're going to make me not like my wedding song anymore because I've listened to it 1,000 times in the last 3 months. But it's very cute that they want to dance together and have you dance with them. So
we need to have a dance.
That's a lot of fun.
That's all Bryce asked me to do in the evening.
Oh,
he wants to, yeah. But our selection of music, you definitely do not want Peyton and Avery listening to. I'll put it like that. Bryce,
Avery probably would dance to it. She likes to shake her booty to everything.
Yeah.
Avery can her hips go full side to side every time she dances. That's how she dances. Peyton's more like jumping around. It's crazy. I don't even know. Like, yeah, she's kind of crazy with her dance moves. But that's been going on. They've been a lot of fun, Brandon, but also a handful. I won't lie to you. This is 18 months and 3 years. We got our handful. It's every night, every day, every evening. It is a lot of work. And by the time they go to bed, you are worn out. So, good luck, Brandon. It's a lot of fun, but it's tiring for sure.
Yeah, I'm going through it right now, and it sounds like it's just gonna get better.
You got a piece of baby gear that to go over this week, Brandon? Because I actually have a piece of baby gear and a piece of dad gear.
Oh, turn up. So My piece of baby gear is the Elf on the Shelf. You can get, they had a bunch of different varieties of them. We have like technically the name of the elf that we have is the Elf on the Shelf, like a Christmas tradition boy version. You can get it at like Bass Pro Shops, has it on sale right now for $16, half off. That's the actual elf. And then Kelsey bought a kit that goes along with pretty much any Elf on the Shelf that lets you like stage different areas. And if you just look up Elf on the Shelf kit, you can get whichever one you want. Just they're $10-15, and like our elf has been like eating a Tootsie Roll in the bathroom before. You can think about what that is doing. He's like hanging from like like a little spy get up from like the mantle with like a little message. There's something for every day starting in December. And Bryce, when he wakes up in the morning, every morning, he wants to go find Elfie is the elf's name.
Hey, God bless you, Brandon. God bless you, because I'm honestly, I'd probably never been more attracted to my wife than when she told me Kelsey that she never wants to do Elf on the Shelf. I was like, thank you, because it sounds.
I didn't do this growing up.
I didn't either. Cool.
So the one thing that we don't do because we both think it's weird. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say weird, but I'm going to say weird. We do think it's weird. So whoever's listening, I'm sorry if this offends you, but like the whole like the elf is spying on you and watching your every move for Santa Claus and then reporting back. It's just that's not what we doing. So the elf is like cool. He's there. He works with Santa, but he just hanging out. Like, and he don't.
Okay.
Hey,
I just don't have
the whole like.
I ain't got the time or the thought. Like
that's all Kelsey.
I'd be messing that up.
Kelsey wakes up. She goes downstairs, feeds Riley.
Good for you, Kelsey.
Bryce's milk ready, and then she stages it. She got it all prepared. That's 100% Kelsey.
I like it.
If it was up to me, that elf would probably move once a week.
Exactly. Well, my piece of baby gear, Brandon's actually a gift that I bought for Peyton for her birthday. And I actually picked it out myself, and I was pretty happy and proud of myself because she loves it. And a lot of people have been like, this is awesome. So yay, Dad, for the win. And it's pretty girly, so definitely good for me. But it's the Smart 2, so SMARTTWO, Smart 2 wooden makeup toy set for toddlers. And basically it's a 22-piece wooden makeup set where there's like scissors and lotion and a curling iron and a hair dryer and makeup and stuff, but it's all like wooden, and it's super like kind of Montessori style, and it's super cute. Peyton loves it. Avery actually loves it because Peyton's really girly and she likes to fake put makeup on, so we got her kind of this wooden set. It's not real makeup, it's all fake, but
I can't believe
she
paid
likes
this
it.
Much for this.
It was like, I think it was like $30, but it's nice.
35.
It's good quality. I think I got it on sale, but it's good. It's good quality, and honestly, it was like I knew that's what she kept saying. She wanted something like that, so like I kind of like I that was like one of the only gifts I picked out for her. I always buy her a book every year and write in it, and then I bought her that, and I think like one or two other things. But we know how everyone goes crazy, so we try not to get her too much. But that was her gift from Dad, and it went well. So if you have a daughter that likes that kind of stuff, it's kind of a cool toy. Look at that. But if you're a dad, so Brand, I got a cool dad gear joke. I have a dad gear for everyone to share. So this is kind of something kind of cool. The other day, long story short, I basically found that out that I had a gift card with some money on it that I didn't know about. And it was a weird gift card that you could only use at very random places. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to buy? I don't care about most of these places. I'm like, maybe I can buy something responsible. We need some new pots, new pans, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I found at one of these places that they sell the Bartesian drink maker, which anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's basically like a Keurig for like mixed drinks. And I'm like, ooh, that's cool. I wouldn't spend that money myself, and I'll never buy that, but this is a free little gift card I have, and it would pay for it all. So I was like, honey, do we be smart or do we have fun? And we basically waited for Black Friday, and we're able to get this thing. And it's really cool.
I'm so proud of you for actually pulling the trigger on that.
I did. It's really cool. You basically put a pot in of any kind of mixed drink you want. You got to fill like these little containers with alcohol, and then it makes you the drink. If you haven't seen it before, look up Bartesian. You're
drinking something now. What you drinking?
That's what I'm saying. And in my hand, I got a Manhattan from my Bartesian. And again, I'm not a guy that mixed drinks very often at all, which is kind of why I actually like it, is because I don't want to have to buy all the mixers and the drinks all the time. But now I have this, and if I want something, instead of having to figure out how to make it or buy special stuff, I can just throw the pot in there. Also, if people come over, instead of feeling obligated to have a bunch of stuff like that, you just got the pods. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun. And again, it makes good drinks. I'm drinking a Manhattan right now. You can pick a setting. You can pick light, regular, or double, I think, or heavy, maybe they call it. And then you can even make a mocktail with it if you don't want the alcohol in there. And so it's pretty cool. If you haven't looked at it, you like something like that, look up Bartesian. There's a couple different models. I think your brother has one, Brandon, which is by Black & Decker, I think is the one he has. But it's kind of fun. So you'll have to check it out one time when you come over. And so far, I think I've only had 2 or 3 drinks, and all of them have been very good. My dad came over for the Lions game, and we each had one, so that was good. And I think he had a couple, so he must have really liked it. So it was good. So that's my gear for the week, and I think that's a good place for us to kind of get into today's topic, Brandon, which is sick season, something that we're both experiencing and have experienced. But basically, what we want to talk about is kind of what is sick season, how to prepare for it, what can you do. And how can you make it better than it is, because it's never fun. And I guess I'll just start really quickly by saying when we're talking about sick season, that's typically like fall, winter, the colder seasons when flu and colds run more rampant than normal. So that's kind of what we're defining as the sick season, which we're currently in because it's December. Brandon, kind of I'll let you start today. Kind of what did you find while doing research or in your own experience?
So firstly, in our experience, and I think we were at the beginning of this for like the people that I know, but there seems to be right now like a month long or month and a half, 2 month long cold that's going on. And in the Reddit groups that I'm in and Kelsey's in, people are complaining about the same, and this is across the country. People are complaining about the same things. At our job, we're seeing it. We got sick about 2 months ago. And it seemed like it started with the kids, but Kelsey likes to blame me for it, so I'll take the blame. We got like normal colds, which sucked, but they were fine. It's just a normal cold. Then a week and a half later, we got COVID, and then since then we have just been sick for a couple months, which has led to a few different things. But like you mentioned, typically when you have toddlers in the house, you have a germ gauntlet to a degree. Because your kids are basically petri dishes. So in my research, and we kind of already know this anyway, but part of the reason that they're susceptible is because their immune system is in training. So their immune systems, they haven't encountered many viruses yet. It's constantly knocking them down. You're going to see more frequent colds, ear infections, other things like that. And then on top of it, their hands are always exploring stuff, putting it in their mouth. So that's always going to be an issue when you have toddlers in the house. And it seems like once they get sick, they're in your face. And it's just if you have kids in daycare or you have kids going to grandparents' house and grandparents are getting sick from church, that
whoever is that pointed at
be an issue. No idea, but that tends to be an issue.
No, that's a good point, Brandon. So, like, what can you do, like, as a parent? Because, I mean, kids are going to get sick, and this sounds bad, Brandon, but, like, to a degree, I don't say you want them to get sick, but kids need to be able to, they need to get sick, because if they don't get sick, they don't build up their immune system, and, that means they're going to get sick later on. So they often say that kids that don't get sick a lot before they go to school end up getting sick a ton their first couple of years in school. Probably a correlation there, right? So some things you can do, and some of them are pretty simple. Some of them are more complicated. But one of the main things you can do is you can encourage lots of sleep. Healthy sleeping patterns can help lead to being a better immune system, more healthy. And so encouraging your kid to sleep well, and which I know every parent wants, right? But trying to establish healthy sleeping patterns.
We're really encouraging them to sleep well.
That is
thinking about whiskey.
Yes, exactly. No, but that's definitely a big one. And then another one that kind of leads into good sleep, but also kind of goes with it, Brandon, another one to point out is they tell your kids to be very active. If they're super active and then they're running, they're playing, they're outside, they're doing things like that, it helps build their immune system as well. And obviously, if they're super active, in theory, they're going to sleep better. So it can kind of lead in one into the other. I know that's not always the case, but being active and sleeping well can both lead to healthier kids. What other ones did you find, Brandon?
So I actually want to piggyback on that, specifically talking about sleep. Things that can help are humidifiers and vaporizers. Mm-hmm. So that'll help ease congestion. And typically, like I've been hearing coughing for 2 months straight. That helps with the coughing as well. Exactly. So elevating the head of the bed, look that up based on your child's age. We actually, even at KJ's age, our doctor recommended having a pillow underneath.
I remember that.
I remember that. Yeah. Crib, to help with that as well. It seemed like that didn't. So for Bryce, when we did that, it didn't. It seemed like it helped his cough, but messed up his sleep, if that makes sense. So while he was asleep, it seemed to work, but the kid didn't like it. Right. He couldn't get into a deep sleep. So we kind of played around with that off and on. Sometimes we used it, sometimes we didn't. Your kids, when they're sleeping, or if they're not falling asleep, they probably feeling a little bit extra cuddly. So there's been more than one occasion recently where Bryce wakes up and he's feeling congested and he's just calling out for me or Kelsey, and we end up throwing him in the bed. We got an extra bed in his room, and we cuddle him, get him to go back to sleep, and put him back in. Sometimes that's something you feel good about. Sometimes you just fell asleep and it's kind of annoying. But you definitely see that. But extra cuddles, soothing baths, things like that. And then, if it gets to a point, and this is our experience, sometimes you look at things like it's just a normal cold, but if they start taking a little bit more time, or you're hearing things, especially when it comes to your kids breathing, you probably want to consult your doctor and see what you should do. So both of our kids went to the doctor twice during this entire experience. The first time Bryce went, we actually went to a children's urgent care. Based on what they were seeing and hearing, they prescribed him an antibiotic. KJ had gone to the doctor a couple of days before that, pretty much the same symptoms, and that's not what our doctor prescribed. They actually basically told us we should use Zyrtec to dry him out. KJ had a wet cough.
They told Peyton that before, yeah.
The problem we've had, and I'm not a doctor, I'm just a dad who Kelsey and I observe stuff, but Zyrtec with Bryce seemed to actually affect his mood when he was on it negatively. And this was before he was a terrorist, so it was pre-terrorist Bryce. But he became one when he started taking Zyrtec. So we've been a little bit hesitant with that, but the point there was to dry up basically any mucus or anything like that. So because his cough was super wet at the time, and then for KJ it kind of turned into more of a bark, which was troubling for us because we hadn't really heard that even with Bryce. So we ended up taking him back after a couple of weeks. They listened to his breathing. They felt good about it, and it was more of a peace of mind thing for us when we did that. But Kelsey did end up getting an antibiotic for him. The doctor prescribed one, and I don't know if that ultimately worked. But those are a few different things surrounding sleep and medication. What else do you have? I got a couple other tips for surviving as well.
Yeah, another one that honestly I wish I could do. Like I would pay large sums of money to be better at this, but I just seem to fail as a parent when it comes to this. And that's to help your kid eat a well-balanced diet, basically. And
no, that ain't happening.
I try. I so try.
Folks.
I don't know if you have days like this, Brandon, but I don't know when it comes to diet. There's random days where I'm just I'm sticking my flag in the ground. I'm doing it. Today we're going to eat good. And it's just a losing battle. I will say though,
it's not a matter of not trying. We try. We trick them sometimes with things that They just decide, they might say, I want this specific thing right now. And not might, they do.
Yep.
And then 2 seconds later or 5 minutes later, you make exactly what they want. And they think it's the worst thing and throw a fit and start crying about
Peyton
it.
said she didn't like pizza today.
Good luck with
I was
that.
like, you don't like pizza today? What are you talking about? But yeah, I will say that me and Maisie both together got her to eat pasta, and it was veggie pasta. It took forever, and then she ate it, and then we got her to eat it a second day, which also took forever. And she liked it both times. And then she wouldn't eat it again. Like I don't, you know what I mean? Like it's just crazy. So anyways, but
kudos
if you can do it
for us to Kelsey for that, because she got so many snacks that she does research on that are healthy, and she just tricks them into doing it. Good luck.
Hands off to her. A veggie straw is about as healthy as I can get my kid to eat. But if you can get them to eat a well-balanced diet, it's better for them. Again, I don't know the tricks there. If you guys are doing it as parents out there, hats off to you. Tell me your tips and tricks, because I'm not good at it. And I do try. And not that our kids eat terrible. They don't eat terrible. It's just they eat, peanut butter and jelly. They eat, they eat lots of fruit, tons of fruit. They love fruit. But as far as vegetables go, yeah, good luck. I've tried everything.
Keep having kids till you get one that just likes to.
Jeez, Pete.
KJ might end up being that kid.
I hope so, but I will tell you, Brandon, not to pee in your Cheerios. Avery had everything in sight, and now she's as picky, if not pickier, than Peyton. So, I don't know.
You're just a fountain of joy.
Yeah, exactly. Because she was the same way. She ate everything, just ate it. And I'm like, this kid's awesome. I love this kid. She's so great at eating. And all of a sudden, she won't eat anything in front of her. Today she was making out with her little tower, the little tower they stand in to eat at the counter. She is eating this piece of pizza, but not. It's all over her that she's just making out with this tower, and I'm like, what are you? She's a psychopath at this age. It's
I'm
crazy,
laughing
bro.
because Bryce be doing stuff like that all the time.
Just, why
is your mouth there?
Correct. I'm like, what are you doing? You won't eat your food, but you're eating the freaking tower. I don't understand.
Don't let something be mesh.
Oh my god!
They can just put their face up against it and stick their tongue out.
Well, Peyton took Avery's binky today and put it in her mouth, so that was fun. Just out of nowhere. She hasn't done that in forever, but I was like, great. So anyways, yeah, if you can get them to eat healthy, that's one. And then another one that's very obvious, but they tell you to do is obviously try to avoid germy situations, such as sharing binkies with someone who might be sick. But again, if you can help your kid wash their hands or stay out of high, crazy sick areas, and I'm talking specifically in sick season, not all the time, right? But you said, there's something going around right now. Well, if there's something going around and then you take your kid around 500 other kids, there's a good chance they're going to get something. So you just got to be common sense with that kind of stuff. If there's sicknesses going around or people are kind of sick, stay away from them. And then if you're the one with the sick kid, don't bring them out, because it's just, if you can avoid it. And I know you can't always, but that's not going to help anything. So that's kind of a couple other tips. Anything I'm missing, Brandon, or anything to add on those?
So, based on what you said, Bryce didn't go to soccer for basically the last 2 months because he's been sick. We've been sick. So we paid for a soccer session and pretty much went to 3 sessions because we knew we had a sick kid and we didn't want to be those parents. A couple other things, and then I want to briefly talk about the impact on the family too. But you mentioned hand washing. So just make sure your hygiene is there. Hand wash.
Yep.
If you got a sanitizer, sanitize as much as possible. Make sure you're getting anything that your kid is touching or eating off of in high heat. That way you can try to burn off everything. Vitamins. So, and that's something you mentioned, healthy eating. I know that in the past you've had some trouble getting Peyton to take vitamins. That's not been our testimony with Bryce.
She loves them now. We're good now. We're team gummy bears now, and now she loves them. She actually will try to trick mom and dad daily. She'll go, Daddy, can I have my gummy bears? I haven't had them yet. And I'm like, no, I know you had them, you little trickster. So, yeah, no, we're good
Bryce
there,
went
but
through a phase of that where he was trying to get more than one.
Oh, yeah.
I want his thing that he says is, I want many. So you hand him one. No, I want many. How many is nice. Many? You get one.
Peyton says big. I want a big one. She says that she thinks a lot is big. Yeah, she goes she'll go, oh, I want a big one. I mean, okay, like she thinks a big one and lot are like the same thing. So like she wants peanut butter on a spoon. I'll give her some and she goes, "No, that's not a big one. I want a big one." Like, okay, I don't know what a big peanut butter on a spoon is, but let me put some more on it. This kid won't take it. She won't take. Yeah. She will not take something that she does not deem to be right. It's crazy. But you're right. Vitamins are definitely another good way to kind of help being healthy. And kind of like to add to all this too, Brandon, but I'll let you keep going. But I want to reiterate, because it's kind of crazy. Getting sick isn't the worst thing in the world either, as long as they get over it, and it's not fun while it's happening. But your kid needs to build their immune system up, and they do that by getting germs and getting sick. So if you prevent it completely, and you're like, my kid's not been sick for the first 4 years of their life, it's great. It's good. They're going to eventually get sick, because when they go to school, you can't do anything. And then, so, it's not, again, not telling you to get your kid sick, but when they're sick, you just got to chalk it up as, hey, they're building their immune system. I'll take that W at least, because that's the silver lining, I guess.
Yeah. And then one thing, so not one thing, but the impact on parents. So from our seat, legitimately, this has been the worst stretch of sleep I've gotten in my entire life. At any point that Bryce was little. And I've actually been super proud of Kelsey and I, because these are the times that you can really go hard at each other. And I mean, obviously it's been 2 months. We've gotten in arguments in the past 2 months, but overall, it has not taken the toll that
you don't have the energy.
That probably is what it is. That's probably what it is, because it's been or stuff is quick. This is I'm almost talking to myself, but you got to be patient with your partner. You got to understand the attitudes that come with both of us work full time. None of us are sleeping. You get annoyed at work with the people that you work with. Everybody does, and then you come home and you got kids who are sick and tired and being annoying, and then you got to deal with your partner too. So if and when those arguments do come up, you got to make sure you try to nip them in the bud pretty quickly. Understand that both you guys are in this together. So I mean, that's definitely been something that if you'd have told me what we were going to go through 3 months ago, I was oh shoot, we about to be at each other's necks. And that really hasn't been the case. And then, I mean, ultimately, you mentioned it, but this is a normal part of the parental process, and you sometimes it feels like you're stuck in it forever, but it's good for the kid in the long haul. You got to be patient with yourself, offer your partner help, try to split stuff up as much as possible, and you're gonna get through it, because I feel like we're at the back end of it now, which is, knock on wood, a blessing. So keep your head up if you're going through it right now.
For sure, it's going to happen, and the more kids you have, probably the more frequently it's going to happen, unfortunately. But, like you said, you get through it, and the hard part is you almost want everyone to get it at once, because when it becomes like a train, one's got it, then they get over to the next person, it's tough. But you try to be as healthy as you can be, and then take care of them. And then obviously, one thing we didn't mention, but if your kid's sick, have stuff in the house to help, whether it's, medication for the colds or runny noses, Kleenex, boogie wipes for that type of stuff, whether you got stuff for sore throats, aspirin, different things. You want to have things so if your kid's not feeling great, you can at least potentially have something that can help remedy the situation, or at least make them feel better for a little bit, especially if it's not anything super major, so you don't have to go to the doctor every 10 seconds. So stock your medicine cabinet, be prepared. And I just told Messi this the other day. Another thing too, this is not really sickness, but have Band-Aids on hand, because once they get to 2 and 3, they be running into stuff, and I swear little nicks and scratches, and then they want Band-Aids too, they think it's cool. So have Band-Aids on hand too, because also I've
nothing like a good
randomly
flesh-colored Band-Aid.
Yeah, I've randomly cut myself twice in the last week too, and needed a Band-Aid. So, but that's a good place to stop, Brandon. Yeah, sixth season. It's never fun, but the good news is, hopefully, knock on wood, if you get sick early in sixth season, then maybe you won't get sick later in sixth season. I don't know. I'm trying to be glass half full right now. So, anyways, I got a fun dad joke to go with. So let's go there.
I'm waiting with bated breath. Let's get it.
All right, Brandon, you ready for this?
I'm ready for this PG joke. that you got.
PG-13. So
We'll
hide your kids, hide your wife. Brandon, how did the Burger King get Dairy Queen pregnant?
That's funny. That's already funny. I don't know. He showed her his Whopper.
He forgot to wrap his Whopper.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Yep. Anytime you can get the Burger King and Dairy Queen in on a joke, that's not bad. But I thought that was pretty funny. I got a couple more too, but that's the one I wanted to lead with today. So
I'm gonna save mine for next week. I'm gonna give my PG-13 about the ladies of the night.
Okay.
Next week.
Well, it's funny, Brandon, because now you know, and some of the listeners, you might have heard me talk about this, but I kind of have a new role with my job, and I've been driving a lot more. So I've kind of been listening back to some older episodes because I never had a chance to listen to them because my commute's like 2 minutes until recently. But now that I'm driving hours and hours a day, I've listened to some older episodes, and it was funny because we kind of went through a phase where we had some kind of more on edge jokes, and then we went away from it. So I'm like, you know what? It's time to bring it back. So that kind of inspired me to bring it back because they're kind of funny. And you know, there's a line to flirt with, and we got to flirt with it sometimes. So that's my joke. Maybe next week we'll both kind of have one. But if anyone who hasn't listened to us before, hopefully you like our podcast and also like us on social media. And if you haven't already, please leave us a review. Tell your friends about us. Put us on a Reddit thread. Anything you can do, we greatly appreciate it. And, you know, we always like hearing from each and every single one of you guys. So please message us. We try to get back to you as soon as we can. But until next time, as always, I'm Jerry, joined here by Brandon. And you've been listening to Dad Jokes.